Cheers! Hi, welcome to Cooking with Vino.
I'm Sari.
I'm Victoria.
If you haven't hung out with us before, we are friends that met at culinary school, and we love cooking and we love vino. So we're going to today drink with, I apologize in advance for all my Italian friends and family, Montepulciano di Abruzzo. So it's a red wine, it's from Italy, and it's really yummy, it's easy to drink, and we're gonna cook with it as well. So what are we making today?
Today we are going to make pasta dough, or pizza dough, and we're going to make a marinara sauce to go on the pizza. So we're going to walk you through the steps, show you the ingredients, and do it together.
And drink some wine.
And drink some wine.
So we also have a website, www.cookingwvino.com. All the recipes that we're going to make today are on there, so if you want to pause it here and then go to the website, get the ingredients, and come back, don't forget your wine, and then you can cook with us. So we have all the stuff going on here today. Let's get our pot turned on. And you want to get things started?
Yep. So
what do you got on your side?
For our ingredients, we have 1 onion diced. We have some carrots and some celery. So together, this is called mirepoix. If you saw our last video, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but just in case, we'll talk about it again.
Yes.
So mirepoix is kind of the basis of aromatics. It's going to give you great flavor. It's cheap and it's easy to work with.
Yes.
So the ratio is 50% onion, 25% carrot, and 25% celery. So we're just going to throw this in here and we're going to simmer it a little bit.
Yep. We're also going to add some garlic to that as well. And then in a little bit, we have 2 cups of chicken stock. And then we have a sachet, which is basically a cheesecloth with a little string around it. In ours today, we have parsley, cilantro, peppercorn, bay leaf,
crushed red pepper,
and I think that's it.
Yep.
So we'll put this in a little later too. And then we have our tomato products, which we have 2 large 29 ounces of tomato sauce and then crushed tomatoes. So we're just going to let basically the carrots, onion, celery, and garlic just kind of do its thing for a few minutes. You don't really want to get it any color, so we're just really sweating it so that we get all the aromatics out.
And the great thing about this sauce is you can change it for your taste buds. If you want it a little spicier, you can add more crushed red pepper. You can add jalapenos.
Yeah, that'd be good.
If you don't want any spice, you
could add meat to it.
You can add meat.
You could add like red meat, you could add chicken, you could add pork, you could really add anything.
Yep. And we're going to use it for pizza today.
Yes.
But it's the same sauce I use for spaghetti, for lasagna, for any of my Italian dishes. It's the same sauce. You can freeze it. It lasts forever. Just throw it in the freezer.
Yeah. And Sam, one of my best friends, Sam, she reached out to us and said she wanted us to teach her something with red wine and with cooking with it. So this one is perfect for you. And then besides that, yeah, let's go ahead. Again, we said this in our last video, but anytime you're adding, which we're about to add a little wine to deglaze the pan, you want to take it off the heat. It doesn't matter if it's wine, liquor, whatever. You do want to remove it, but you will still get a little bit of steam if it's really hot. So you don't have to be exact, but it's just going to help deglaze the pan. It's going to add extra flavor, and it will cook off, so you don't have to worry about it. If you have kids and stuff, they can still eat this. It's going to cook for a while, so you just want to deglaze it, and then basically helps get all those little bits called fond off the bottom, and incorporate some flavor too. All right. So throughout the video, while you're cooking, don't forget, drink some wine. It's fun. Cheers. All right. So after it's kind of started simmering, we're going to add in all the tomato products. You want to do that one?
Yep. So we got just our regular tomato sauce.
It's a big guy.
You can use tomatoes if you want, but that involves blanching them.
Yeah.
You gotta peel them, you gotta seed them, you gotta do all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So it's easier and cheaper to just grab some cans.
Yeah. Very cheap. So the tomato products, we're also going to drop in our sachet. The reason we put it in a cheesecloth is so later we can just easily grab it out because you wouldn't want the bay leaf, the cilantro, parsley stems in there. You can always go back and add more seasoning, so you could add some additional crushed red pepper and things like that if you wanted to. And then we're also going to add our chicken stock. So this is 2 cups. You could use broth or stock here. Add this in.
If you're doing a vegetarian style, you can also use vegetable stock. It doesn't have to be chicken stock. You can use beef. You can use whatever kind you want.
Yeah.
You can use water. It's not as flavorful.
Right.
It's still kind of liquid. Does the same thing.
And then this is a good tip. So when you're done with the Parmesan cheese, save the rind, keep it in your fridge or freezer, and then when you're making a tomato sauce like this that's going to cook for a while, just drop it in. It's going to infuse the cheesy flavor all throughout, and it's really, really yummy. Don't do it for a quick sauce though, because it will take a few minutes to actually, not a few minutes, it will take a long time to actually melt. So at this point, we're going to bring it to a simmer. And then we're going to bring it to, a simmer, and then we're going to reduce it and let it cook for about 3 hours.
Yep.
So at this point, if you got everything in the pot, go ahead and you can join us back. We're going to put a little break, have a little wine, get our pizza dough ready to make, and then we'll meet you back here in a little bit. Bye. Cheers.
Welcome back.
Nice to see you again.
Okay, so now we're going to start on our pizza dough.
Yes. So this pizza dough recipe makes 2 pizzas. We forgot to mention earlier in the video, this is a great recipe, or both of these are great recipes for like a Sunday or a day that you have a little bit of time, because both of them to be at its best is about 3 hours, not of cooking time, but really of like chilling time, which gives you a lot of time to drink wine, do your chores, take a nap, whatever you want to do. So for the pizza dough recipe, what we're going to start with, and we'll kind of just go through the ingredients as we make it. So we have 1 cup of warm water. You don't want the water to be too warm because we're also using instant dry yeast, 1 teaspoon. If it's too warm, it's going to kill the yeast. So if you have a thermometer, it's actually better, but you want it to be somewhere around 90, 98 degrees, under 100 degrees. Anyways, we have a bowl here. We're going to dump 1 teaspoon of dry active yeast. If you use instant yeast, you use 25% less, and you don't have to do this part, but this is how we're doing it. It's easier. So we put the yeast in the bowl. Get it in there. We put the warm water on it. 1 cup again, and then we're going to mix it actually right now. And really what it's going to do is just make sure that all the yeast is incorporated, because sometimes it might get stuck to the bottom of the bowl, to the side of the bowl. Basically the warm water is waking up the yeast. It's alive, but it's just sleeping. It's like dormant right now. So you basically just mix it around, make sure you're waking it up and that nothing sticks to the bottom.
Yep. Make sure you get all the clumps out too, because sometimes it clumps up on you.
Exactly. And then we have 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. This recipe is on our website as well.
Yep.
Basically what you're going to do, and you don't really need to let the yeast do much, just pour this on top. Just kind of sprinkle it over so you cover the whole surface area, and the yeast will actually start eating the flour as well. So got all the flour in there. This is super easy. The only other things that we need are olive oil and salt. So for olive oil, it's going to be 1 teaspoon of olive oil. Plus you'll need a little bit later too for oiling the dough, but we'll get there in a minute. So we're going to go ahead and just pour this on top. And then we're going to do 2 teaspoons of salt, and that's it. Now, depending on the day and where you live, you might need a little extra water or a little extra flour, depending on how humid it is, how hot it is, etc. Whoops. That happens. If it's not messy, you're not doing it right.
Yep.
So Victoria's just bringing it all together. At first, you're going to be like, man, this is not happening. Yeah, it's too floury. It's not coming together. How does it feel?
It feels kind of wet on the inside, so it helps if you mush it between your fingers to kind of open it up. And just get all that flour in there. And this is also a good recipe for your own taste buds too. If you like garlic, you can add some garlic powder,
good
some
point.
fresh garlic. If you like spicy, you can add some red pepper, some crushed red pepper.
Yeah, you can add basically any spice or herb to it. Difference between spice and herbs. Spices are, well, the herbs are the stems and the roots and the leaves. The spices are like the flowery parts or like what's the word I'm looking for? We both forget. It's okay. We'll talk about it later. Like later.
Little.
Anyways, the dough has come together,
This is
and
what it looks like.
it looks great. So this part you're gonna think I'm crazy, but you need to knead the dough for 7 minutes. I didn't make this number up. It's true. I've made this recipe 100 times. 7 minutes makes it beautiful. So we're gonna start kneading it for 7 minutes. We're not gonna make you sit here and watch us. So we'll come back in a few minutes, but knead it for 7 minutes, set a timer, have a friend maybe hold up some wine for you, which I'll do in a minute. I have your wine here. I'll do it for her in a minute, and do it for 7 minutes, and then meet us back here. And well, actually, you gotta do it for 7 minutes, and then to make it really good, you gotta let it rest for 3 hours.
Yep.
Like we said earlier, it's a great Sunday recipe, so knead it for 7 minutes, let it sit for 3 hours, and then come back to us.
If it's too sticky, like you can kind of see that it's very sticky right now, like Sari was saying, the humidity in the air might add extra moisture, or if there's less humidity, it's very humid in Florida, so if you're somewhere else, you might not have as much. If it's too sticky, you just add a little bit of flour.
But not too much at once, because otherwise it's going to be too tough.
Yep.
Just sprinkle on about a tablespoon at a time,
Yep.
and it will get where you want it to be.
Alright, so we're going to pause, we're going to knead it for 7 minutes, and then we are going to come back.
All right, bye. Once you've done it for 7 minutes, you want to cut this dough in half. Now it's important to cut it, not break it, because if you break it, you actually break the gluten strands that you've just developed for 7 minutes. So you cut it with a knife, and then get 2 bowls, and put one in each, oil it a little bit, and then you're basically going to cover it and let it rest for 3 hours. You don't have to do all 3 hours, but it makes it really easy to work with.
And it makes it taste better.
It does. And it's really smooth and not sticky at all anymore. And I haven't even gone the whole 7 minutes. So this part is really important. Don't skip it. Don't do anything crazy like that. Just do the 7 minutes. And then oil it, put it in there, and put a dishcloth on top. Let it rest for 3 hours, and then meet us back here.
Yep.
All right. See ya. Welcome back. Cheers.
Cheers. So we have let our dough sit for 3 hours, we have let our sauce go for 3 hours, and now we have to put it all together.
Yeah. So we're going super simple today. We're doing sauce, fresh mozzarella,
And basil.
and a little crushed red. You can, from this point, put whatever you want. If you want to go vegetarian, go for it. If you want to make it like a supreme or meat lovers, whatever you want. You can do this in the oven, on the grill is super fun. From this point, it's really whatever your
Preferences.
Yeah. And this recipe, again, makes 2. So if you want to do, like, I like to do like pizza contests sometimes. It's like one person makes one, makes the other, just makes it fun. Whatever you want. Anyways, we're going to put ours in the oven. We're going to finish topping it, and then we're going to eat it.
Yep.
So we hope you enjoyed today. We hope your pizza comes out really good. And cheers. We'll see you next time on Cooking with
Vino.
Bye.
Bye.